Ladies and gentlemen, Panda Trader here. Today I'm gonna show you how gold is moving today. Okay, let's dive into it. First, I want to show you the Australian inflation numbers came out this morning because inflation data like this can shake up the whole market and gold usually reacts to it too. The monthly inflation number came in a bit sharper than expected, and the early inflation number also came in slightly below what people were expecting. That is the main high impact news on the calendar right now. Second, I'll walk you through my analysis for gold. Here's how we do it. First, we find the main bias of the day by jumping into the daily chart and making the daily high and daily low. After that, we jump into the 4-hour and 1-hour just to find liquidity, the zones where funds and banks put their limit orders. Finally, we look for confirmation signals before taking a trade. Before we get into the charts, let's quickly recap where we've been. Gold had one wild ride over the past year. Price claimed all the way from around $3,200 to the peak near the $5,600 zone. Earlier this year, that was a massive rally, but since around March, gold has been pulling back hard and it's been running lower week after week. Right now, price is sitting around $4,045, which is way off that high. Let's look at the Forex Factory calendar for today. The biggest item so far was the Australian inflation data, and that already came out at around 8:30 in the morning. The monthly number, the yearly number, and the trim mean number all came in a touch below what economists were expecting. That's not a United States dollar event, but big inflation surprises like this can move risk sentiment across the whole market, gold included. For the rest of the day, we don't have any other high impact rate for the events. There's a German import right here coming at 1 in the afternoon, and the Swiss economic expectations at 3, some United Kingdom banking data at around 3:30 p.m. and later tonight at around 9:30 p.m. we got the United States crude oil inventories. None of these are much as the high impact today, but I'll leave a gap here in a moment when you can swap anything that comes out later tonight. Alright, let's jump to the weekly chart. Looking at the last week candle right here, you can see that the highest point was up around $4,200 and the lowest point of that week was down closer to the 4,000 area range. So last week gold basically traded in that range. Going into this week, I'm watching to see if we can hold above the $4,000 area. Now let's move to the daily chart. The most recent daily swing high sits up around $4,150 and the most recent daily swing low around near 4,000 area. Price has been consolidating between those two levels for the past several days. Based on that, my daily bias right now is neutral to slightly bearish because we are stuck in below that swing high and overdrawn trend on daily has been down since the April top. Now here's where we start digging deeper, starting with the 4-hour chart right here. Over the past few weeks, gold has been moving in this choppy up and down swing, bouncing between roughly $3,960 to around $4,200. The most recent swing high on 4-hour was around $4,100, and that happened just a few days ago. Since then, price has been grinding lower in a series of smaller candles, and right now we are trading around $4,020 to around $4,040. This tells me the 4-hour structure is currently leaning bearish, since we haven't made any new high and instead we're printing lower closes day after day. If gold can hold this area and start pushing back up through that $4,100 swing, would flip the 4-hour bias back to bullish. But until that happens, the 4-hour trend still favors the downside, or at best sideways job. Let's bring it to the 1-hour chart right now, because this is where the real detail is. A while back, gold broke structure to the upside out of a discount zone around $3,970 to $4,000. From there, it rallied hard in a clean 5-wave move like this, and on the way up into a supply zone between the $4,141 to $4,160, meaning price wrapped some stop losses sitting above the highs before reversing. After that, we got a change of character, and price dropped sharply back down toward the $4,020 to $4,075 area, which lines up with a fair value gap from the earlier move up. Gold tried to push back up one more time toward the $4,100 to $4,120, but that move also failed with another change of character right here, and price drawn back over into that same lower zone. Right now, price is sitting inside the lower fair value gap, close to the $4,027, and we just got a fresh change of character on a smaller time frame, hinting a possible bounce. If that plays out, the projected target sits up around $4,116, right into another fair value gap zone. So let's talk about where seller opportunities are. The first resistance zone to what is that fair value gap up around the $4,060 to $4,075, which also lines up with our projected target near the $4,116. If price rally into that area and starts showing rejection, that's spot where the sellers could step back in, especially with the bigger 4-hour and daily trend is still leaning down. The bigger resistance zone above that is the $4,141 to $4,116 area, where we saw that order block and liquidity sweep earlier. That's the heavier zone, and if price get all the way up there, I'd expect a strong selling pressure to show up again. On the buy side, the nearest support is that 1-hour fair value gap right here, around 4,020 to 4,075, right where price is trading right now. As long as we hold above this area, there's a short-term buying opportunity, especially with that change of character we just saw hinting at upside. Below that, the bigger support is the discount zone down to around $3,970 to $4,000. The price drop on the way back down there, that will be a deeper area where buyers might step back in for a larger bounce. Now let's talk about tomorrow, July 30. My main scenario is that gold holds above the $4,020 area today and tomorrow, and pushes out toward the $4,116 target using the recent change of character as a confirmation. In that case, I'd be looking for buying opportunities on any smaller pullback with resistance near the $4,141 to $4,160 if price keep moving up. The reverse scenario is that if gold breaks down below the $4,000 like this, and if that happens, the bullish setup is invalidated, and I shift my focus toward. One more thing, keep an eye on the news throughout the day. We already had the Australian inflation numbers this morning, but things like crude oil inventories tonight or any surprise headlines can shift this plan quickly. Always check the calendar before you take any trade. And as always, please manage your risk properly. Never risk more than you are comfortable losing, and always use a stop loss. This video is for educational purposes only. It's not financial advice, and you should always do your own research before making any trading decisions. That's it for today's gold breakdown. If you want to see more 1-hour analysis like this every single day, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.